When we think about infrastructure, roads, bridges, power grids, we tend to see it all as just the background, the static, concrete stage for our human lives. But that's not even half the story. Our built world is absolutely teeming with unseen life, with conflict, with drama. So let's pull back that curtain and take a look at this hidden world. At first glance, the answer seems obvious, right? It's for us. It's to move our stuff, power our homes, and connect our cities. But if you just tilt your perspective a little bit, you start to see that our infrastructure serves all these purposes we never intended, for inhabitants we almost never think about.
Now this quote, it just completely flips the script on how we look at a common pest. I mean, we see termites as these little destroyers, right? But from another angle, they are master engineers. Their complex, intelligent swarms are so sophisticated, they're actually studied for insights into things like artificial intelligence and automated systems.
And for a termite, our infrastructure isn't just an obstacle or a place to live, it's food. It's the buffet. They literally metabolize our world, turning our train tracks and our bridges and our buildings into fuel for their own massive, sprawling empire. They don't just live in our world, they consume it and remake it for themselves.
And look, this isn't just about tiny insects. The scale of these interactions can be absolutely massive. Get this. In Kenya, a single monkey fell onto a transformer and triggered a cascading failure that knocked out power to the entire country. It's a pretty shocking reminder that our incredibly complex systems are deeply and sometimes very fragilely tangled up with the animal kingdom.
Okay, so let's zoom out from those individual encounters to the huge networks that crisscross the planet. Linear infrastructure, things like roads, has this really powerful and honestly contradictory effect on wildlife. For some animals, a road is a superhighway, but for others, it's an impassable wall. And this really lays out that dual nature perfectly. In India, for example, you have these aggressive rhesus macaques that use the highway system as a corridor to invade new territories, pushing out the native bonnet macaques. So the road connects habitats, yeah, but with some pretty serious disruptive consequences. And at the same time, for other species, that same road might as well be a mountain range, completely isolating them.
And here's the real kicker. This isn't just about how animals get around day to day. It's a genuine evolutionary force. So while those macaques are expanding their range, the white-footed mice of New York City tell the exact opposite story. You have populations of these mice living in different city parks, separated only by roads, that have become so isolated that they're now genetically distinct from each other. Our concrete is literally rewriting their DNA.
And if we zoom out to a global scale, the numbers just get insane. It's not just a few animals here and there. The ballast water inside big cargo ships is estimated to transport around 10,000 different species across oceans every single day. We're not just moving goods, we're accidentally running the largest, most chaotic biological exchange program in the history of the planet.
So on one hand, our infrastructure is busy reshuffling life all over the globe, mostly by accident. But on the other hand, it also represents our most deliberate attempt to control nature. We build these vast systems specifically to harness its power. But, well, controlling that power requires machines of almost unimaginable complexity.
Let's just take the US power grid. It's often called the largest, most complex machine ever built by humanity. And keeping that machine running is this constant, incredibly delicate balancing act. Here's something most people don't realize. There isn't just one grid. There are actually three huge, electrically separate interconnections. You've got the Eastern, the Western, and E-Cart down in Texas. They operate almost like different countries, managed by this complicated patchwork of dozens of different authorities, all trying to stay perfectly in sync.
And the whole game, the entire point of this massive machine, boils down to one core concept: resource adequacy. All that really means is having enough power ready to meet demand every single second of every single day, even when things go wrong, like a power plant tripping offline or a sudden heat wave. It's this monumental task of planning for pretty much every possibility. We pour all of this energy, all this genius, into building and maintaining these systems, all to create a sense of order and control. But what happens if that control just vanishes? What if we just disappeared?
Now, that question isn't just science fiction. It's a powerful thought experiment from the book The World Without Us. It asks a pretty simple question. If humanity vanished overnight, what would happen to this world that we've built? And the answer is, well, it's humbling. It shows just how fast our world would unravel.
I mean, check this out.
In just 2 days, the pumps that keep the New York City subways dry would fail, and the whole system would flood. In 20 years, our cities and plazas would be totally overgrown. After 500 years, a typical suburban neighborhood would be an unrecognizable forest. Nature doesn't just reclaim our world, it dismantles it with terrifying speed.
So after eons, what's left? What's the final proof that our entire civilization was even here? The list is surprisingly short and kind of strange. The faint signature of our radioactive waste, our ridiculously stubborn plastics, ceramics, bronze statues, and massive stone carvings like Mount Rushmore. That's it. That's our final footprint.
So we're left with this thought: our huge, complex, world-changing infrastructure, the product of thousands of years of effort, is in the end completely temporary. Just a brief flash in the planet's long, long history. Knowing that, what does the world we've built and all the unseen life it supports truly say about who we were?